Okay, so it's connected everywhere. So basically, do you guys have a video? Are you going to do the video?
I could do the
Yeah, I've
video.
turned my video on.
Hi, Jasmine and Gloria. Okay, so I'm going to get going.
Sure.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first edition of the Youth Voices in Digital Wellbeing. We have representatives from Ghana and Nigeria here. Jasmine, Gloria, and Doreen. I want you guys to lead this conversation. Thank you so much for being here. Hopefully, Tariq will make it a little bit later, but I do want to start off maybe with a warm-up question, if you don't mind. And I would love it if you could introduce yourselves shortly, the first time you talk. So I wanted to ask you about something I'm actually pretty passionate about myself. This is basically AI in the individual countries. And I learned about something called an Afro SLM, which is a small language model that's led by a Nigerian-based AI startup, which is called Equalize AI. I guess that's the proper pronunciation. And basically, they have a language model with a lot of African languages and dialects in it. And on their website, they write that their commitment is to unlock AI possibilities for over 1 billion native dialect speakers by harnessing hyperlocal multimodal data sets to build agentic AI that truly understands, speaks, and uplifts Africa's diverse languages and dialects. So just to kick it off, I'd like to know your thoughts on that kind of thing, and especially in terms of how you have experienced global AI tools like ChatGPT. So I don't know who wants to start the conversation, but please, looking forward to it.
Okay, I think I'll go ahead and start. Yeah, my name is Doreen Edwina O, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cypher. So Cypher is a platform that is empowering young individuals like you and I, businesses and professionals, to securely share confidential data, be it your pictures, your videos, your documents. In the aspect of businesses, we are looking at intellectual property, assets, asset statement, and stuff like that. And so, from what I do, it was birthed from a hackathon that my teammate and I took part in. And then the theme of that hackathon was tackling cyberbullying and online sexual exploitation. So we're supposed to pick one of the two themes. So we decided to go with sexual exploitation. And online sexual exploitation, I believe we are all aware of it, or we know something about it. It's where two lovers online exchange nude pictures, and then after a breakup, one of them leaks those sensitive images online, and those that can usually lead to defamation and then stigmatization, even suicidal occurrences. So realizing this was a problem and then also doing some in-depth research on it, we decided to build a solution around it. And that project evolved into a startup, Cypher, which we are currently running or operating. So, Angeline, for your question regarding the agentic AI, I think AI has the capability of connecting the world in real time. We have gone with the days where we have messaging apps like Facebook, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and all that. But then there were always language barriers where if I'm a French person and I communicate in French, and you are from maybe the English, an English speaking country, communicating could be difficult. But then the introduction of AI is going to bridge that gap where no matter any language you speak, I'm able to understand you and communicate my ideas effectively in real time. So I think that looking at that perspective, I think that is where we are heading with language. Yeah.
Who else wants to jump in? Jasmine, Gloria.
I'll go after Jasmine.
Okay. Jasmine, maybe I can ask a follow-up question. So do you use like AI in your studies, and have you felt limitations, worries because of using global tools, or is that something you experience?
Angeline, was that question to me or Jasmine?
No, 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 it was Jasmine.
Okay.
Maybe there's some delay. Gloria, would you mind stepping in?
Okay. So yes, I've used AI before and I continue to use it. And currently I'm not schooling. I'm done with my undergrad and I'm with the Ghana Internet Safety Foundation. So at the Ghana Internet Safety Foundation, I'm the programs manager and also the research analyst. So at the foundation, I'm introducing myself first, then I'll come to the question if you don't mind.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
at the foundation, one of our core or pivotal role or some of the things that we really find interest in is child online protection. And with regards to that, we know that a whole lot of stakeholders come together to ensure that we are able to protect children online, parents, law enforcers, teachers, and I mean whoever a child finds him or herself around. So due to this in mind, we roll out lots of programs, and I'll mention just a few. We have one called I Learn to Teach. We have it every single year. And for the I Learn to Teach, we bring together licensed teachers because we know that now we are fusing in digitalization into educational system. So there is the need for some of these parent teachers who, I mean, may not really have digital literacy on their end because during their time, some of these things were not there. Just so they are abreast with what is currently happening, they're able to help use these tools for teaching and learning purposes and also guide these students in their appropriate way. So we're able to minimize, or should I say, educate these students about some of the online harms that we see around cyberbullying, sexual exploitation, among others, constant comparison and all others. Then we also do digital parenting workshop or webinar for parents. Because now these digital devices, there was a research we undertook and we asked the students that this phone or this digital communication you are using, who gave it to you? And most of them were like, my parents. So yes, parents are giving out these digital communications to they are giving it to their wards. There is the need for them to be well knowledgeable about how to guide them. I mean, most of them don't even know what parental guidance is. It's because this did not come in their time. So we do some of these workshops to also open up their eyes to some of the current things happening. Because it may look like they are in a different world and their world is also in a different world. And I mean, if we are in two different worlds, how do we get to guide these words in the right way? So in doing this, you're trying to bridge the knowledge gap and also the skill set gap. And there's another thing we also do. There's another stakeholder that I think really plays a crucial role in this thing we are looking at here, which is law enforcers. I mean, if when I got into immigration or the police service and the whole digitalization AI thing, I did not know about it. And now I find myself there having issues or cases to resolve that are related to this digital thing we are talking about. How would I be able to do so if I'm not trained? So with the law enforcers, we bring together immigration officers and in immigration or even in the police service, they have those who are CID, they have those who are drug and law enforcement unit officers. We have those who are cybersecurity officials or professionals. We bring all these caliber of law enforcers together to train them on the current happenings of the digital age. Just so when cases come, they will not say, oh, this is not important, and they will just flip it somewhere just because they don't have the knowledge. So they don't even see the severity of the thing. So by so doing, given, I think the last one we just had was just this year, and was it March? And it brought together a lot of law enforcers. And the guest speakers who came, I mean, some were international persons, some were also local. The questions that these law enforcers ask, it tells us that there is a need for some of these proactive measures to be taken, which is education and awareness creation. And we also do school outreaches. We also do religious group outreaches. So wherever audience can be found, all that matters is we are called upon, and we are a non-profit organization. One other thing that the foundation is also doing, an academy or a fellowship, is Trust and Safety Africa Academy. I'm a fellow of Trust and Safety Africa Academy. Here, we bring together all youth who have the interest or who see the need to, get themselves into trust and safety. When we say trust and safety, basically, it's like when you're looking at a platform like Zoom, we are looking at how the pioneers of Zoom, they can help hold up principles or guidelines with regards to the usage of Zoom for the purpose stated for. We also have other people in the trust and safety field, which is users, that is us. So the pioneers of this platforms have a role to play. We also have a role we play users. We also have content moderators. So when we do all of these things, we are giving skill sets and also knowledge to youth. Because now we are the users, and some are also entering into these fields. If they don't really hold on to trust and safety, but they just look at how to make money out of digitalization, then we'll continue to see some of these things happening. So coming to your question, yes, I've used AI before, and I continue to use it. But some of the things that I have noticed with the usage of AI, and I've taken a few courses with Council of Europe, is that you see, should I say the pioneers or people who brought this up, they are not Ghanaians, neither are they Nigerians. Most of them find themselves in the European world. So algorithms and all that went into this thing is not African-based context. So, even it's just now that you can see, if let's say you ask for a picture, you can see them bringing you some dark colored human beings, like they're trying to feature in our color and our identity. But we have not gotten to that level where AI has been built with African context and continent in mind. So this indirectly or directly just puts us at a disadvantage, because whatever issue that these should I say AI will be able to address when it comes to online harms, it has not been scaled down also into our context. So it brings some form of imbalances. So that's why we see some of the issues. People in the African continent report that, oh, I've seen my image being, used in a way that is depicting my nudity or whatever. But we don't get the response as quick as those in the European countries will get, because they have content moderators. And the number is not worse than what we have here in Ghana or what we have here in Africa. So if let's say there are 1,000 content moderators, let's say just a state in America or in the US, here in Africa, for the whole continent, we can have like 10 or 100. And there's a lot of us also using this digital space. And with just few people to filter out the ones that, should I say, are abusive to other users on the platform. So yeah, basically, I'm just hoping this all that we are doing, we are able to scale it down to the African continent so that we are able to get the much benefits and limit the abuses and all the other harms that are associated with its usage. Thank you.
Thank you, Gloria. I don't know if Jasmine's still having some technical issues. Tyreek, do you want to step in?
Yes, totally. Hello everyone. I'm Tariq. I am from Lagos, Nigeria. And it's really nice to be here discussing about how young people are basically, you know, navigating the digital world. For the past 2 years, I've been passionately advocating for online safety and also promoting digital wellness and mindful tech use. And I'm really excited to basically engage in these conversations. And I do agree with what Gloria just stated quite a few minutes ago. I believe that Africans are not centered in conversations about digital rights and also online safety, and especially with the fact that digital innovation is constantly evolving. I believe that it is very important that Africans are also centered when these technologies are being developed. because I definitely say even the algorithms are still very Western centered. The content we see, whose voice is being heard, whose safety is being prioritized. For example, I believe young Africans, the safety of young Africans in online spaces is not prioritized. In the United States, we are starting to see more laws and more conversations about online safety and how big tech has, the responsibility to ensure that young people are, safe when they are using their platforms. But I feel like those conversations have not really started in the African mainstream. And I think it is very important for young African advocates like me and every other young person in this room right now to continue that work and keep sparking these conversations, because I believe it is very important for more young, Africans to step up and, bring up conversations and basically share their lived experiences on using these digital platforms. Because I like to say this, like, tech is not neutral. It has human biases and also issues that are currently going on in the real world. So I believe it is really important that we have those conversations about how, young Africans are also navigating issues in the digital world, such as, cyberbullying, online scams, sextortion, um, and also I like the fact that Gloria also brought up, artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence is being developed, and is going to reshape, digital spaces. You're already seeing it. We're seeing AI generated content, and it's very important that people are taught to use this ethically, because I've been seeing a lot of unethical use of AI, and a lot of people don't realize that this unethical use do have real world harms, especially on, the victims of, deepfakes. She did mention AI deepfakes being used to make nude photos of people, and I think that's a serious problem. And unfortunately, there's very little laws or non-existent laws and policies to actually address these issues. And I think these are some of the things that, young African advocates like me and, everyone else in this space and beyond can continue to do, and just like spark these conversations and push this reform. And so I currently work with Logoff, a youth-led organization that has been focused on promoting healthy tech habits and social media use among young people. The movement was started by Emma Lemke, a university student at Washington University in St. Louis, and she basically started the movement because she found herself being addicted to social media, and over the years we have continuously organized campaigns, engaged leaders, parents, students, and basically just like spread the word that unhealthy usage of technology and digital devices can have a very negative impact on the mental health and overall well-being of young people. And a lot of people don't even realize that using social media or technology in any excessive or unhealthy way can definitely have a very, very negative impact on your overall well-being. And I believe the work we do at Logoff is very necessary, and we are always trying to get as more people, because it's very difficult, because our lives are very intertwined with digital devices now. Many of us, we use our phones a lot. We scroll constantly. We are constantly trying to stay updated. For some people, they work remotely, or they basically use their laptop or devices to work, and they spend a lot of time online. But at the same time, spending too much time online can also have very negative impacts on your, not only your mental health but also your physical health. Staring at the screen too much can have negative effects on your eye. Your mental health can decline due to overexposure to too much information. Overload of information can, these are very interesting. And tech addiction can also cause young people to isolate themselves and just like engage in less social interactions. And as human beings, we are social creatures. It's very necessary for us to interact with other people. But if young people are spending all their time indoors, constantly scrolling on TikTok, it's a severe problem. And unfortunately, big tech has always been aware of this. Whether it is Meta, TikTok, they are aware that algorithmic social media can definitely have a very negative impact on the mental health and overall well-being of young people. But unfortunately, due to the fact that they are more focused on maximizing their profits instead of the well-being of the people that are using these platforms, we are now in a world where people are just constantly scrolling, the time that should be spent, spending with their children, doing hobbies, interacting with others, engaging in volunteerism and social engagements. Unfortunately, it's spent scrolling their time away, which is a major problem. And I think it is very important that more people are aware of, how to mindfully use tech. Technology is not going anywhere. Artificial intelligence is not going anywhere. But it's also really important to let them know, these things are not going anywhere. They are now a major aspect of modern life. You're going to have to use AI, for certain things, but you have to use it in moderation because everything should be about balance. That's what we stress. Even though the name of our organization is log off, we're not telling people to, permanently log off because we realize like a core part of modern society is basically the digital devices and technologies we're going to use in our everyday lives. But at the same time, we also need to encourage people to basically use it in moderation. You shouldn't spend all your time online, and you shouldn't say, oh, you know just because it is the digital world, the rules and etiquette of the real world does not apply yet. No, it doesn't work like that. And I believe, it is very important that more advocacy and more engagement efforts should be done so more Africans are aware of these issues, because we need to start becoming more aware of how we navigate the digital world and just like encourage digital citizenship.
Thank you. I'm going to try Jasmine again, see if she's able to comment.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, great.
Okay. Hello, my name is Jasmine Oniraha. I am an architecture, design, and tech creative. I'm also a Microsoft alumna. So basically, I'm interested in how AI and social media platforms are shaping not just the future globally, but then also how we as the young Africans navigate them with our own culture, with our language, with our realities. And I recently had the opportunity to collaborate on a youth-focused Microsoft experience. This was 2 years ago. And when I say I benefited greatly from that, because I learned so much about tech and how young people, how much ideas young people have today that are not being able to, they're not being able to be brought out. They don't have enough platforms. There are not enough platforms to make them express themselves. So it exposed me to how much global tech companies are thinking about our inclusion and our safety and our innovation, and how much potential there is for young people like us to contribute meaningfully to that space. And beyond academics, I run a digital essential business for basically Gen Zs. And like I said before, I'm a design and architecture student. So I design interior concepts and actively promote safe and impactful digital practices among my peers as well. I also engage in conversations about digital well-being and responsibility for the use of our engineering tools. But I'm really excited to be part of this conversation, to learn and to share and to help, spotlight the voices of youth from the communities and youth that are often overlooked in global tech narratives. About your follow-up question that you asked, Ms. Angeline, if I use AI, yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Sorry, I'm still struggling. Okay. Yeah, I use global tools like ChatGPT. I'm sure most of us have also used it. I use a lot in my studies and for brainstorming or summaries or explanations and all that. And while they help, the problem is that there'll be moments where you kind of feel disconnected because, for example, if I'm working on something related to architecture now or local design principles, the answers are often Western or local, or they lack local content. They're not really talking about Nigeria or Africa. Then it's always talking about, outside that. So even simple things like currency references, culture examples, understanding how the school system works here, they aren't always accurate, especially with AI, because they don't really have much info about our culture and what we do here and what we're missing out on. So that's why AI like Afro, you mentioned Afro SLM. That's why I feel like it's important because it helps students like me feel fully seen and learn the process. And when AI understands our environment and our problems and our languages, it just stops being a tool and becomes more like an educational partner, you understand? So yeah, that's what I feel about that.
Thank you.
Okay. So I prepared a few slides to present. So I'll just share my screen and we'll see what we have here. And this is something we are all doing together. At times we'll have some discussion so that we all are able to share our thoughts on what we are discussing here. Okay. So we are going to look at, I've titled the slide, Youth Voices in Digital Wellbeing in Africa, Leading the Change. Please give me a minute. Okay, so I think we've already spoken about a few things right now about the digital world and less of youth being, should I say, made inclusive, even when it comes to policy formulation and enactment of law. So I'm going to look at why do we need youth leadership and engagement in digital well-being. I think some of my colleagues here have already mentioned that the necessity for youth leaders to also be involved. But some of the things I want to also point on is that I believe, I don't know if this is said everywhere, that youth are the, should I say, the future holders, or should I say they are the seed for the future for every nation. So I'm not saying the old people should just leave, but what I'm saying is that now that we find ourselves in a digital world now, if all these issues we are talking about here, we see most of the young adults hooked onto these digital spaces. And if we want to really understand what is happening and how to go about what, then there is a need for youth to also be involved in designing whether a policy, an initiative, whatever be it, just so we get the perspective of these youth for which we are planning all this for. So that is why it is necessary that we get youth leadership and also their engagement when we are looking at digital well-being. The next thing I've already spoken about is shaping policies, and also we are also tools for expression. So one thing that I'll say here, whoever is listening, we all have potential. And if we sit back and we just rely on AI, one thing I've noticed is that people can just type in, I need this, and every answer will be provided. If we don't take care, let us believe in ourselves that we have potential and we should try to enhance it, not letting AI take over, not letting any digital platform take over. Else, there will be a deficiency somewhere because we are unable to really develop ourselves mentally and even physically. And the world or the future needs us. This AI that was created, it was created by humans. I mean, there are some forms of AI that they are able to develop and grow themselves. Even the scratch, a human being did it. So please, let's not be over-reliant on digital communications. We should also put in our bit because we are the creators of the future ahead. So if we want to have a good future, we are going to help, or we are going to, yes, we are going to put in our bit to do that. And if we don't want it, then that means whatever we are also doing here is shaping whatever we are going to see in the future. So yes, there is a need if we want to get youth involved in all these things we are talking about. There's a phrase that goes, "Lack of knowledge, my people perish." The fact that or the reason that someone is falling short for some kind of online harms is just because the person does not have the adequate knowledge and even skills to protect him or herself, and so they fall prey to threat actors. And as a Trust and Safety Africa Academy fellow, one thing that in my journey as a fellow I have learned and understood is that threat actors evolve with time. I mean, you see AI now, we keep on seeing all forms of built up AI. They also do. And they are enhancing these digital communications we are talking about here. So the little knowledge we have, even now as we speak, is not enough. We need to consistently and constantly keep on growing in our knowledge base and also in our skill set base. Because just having knowledge and you not having the adequate skills to apply them, I mean, it makes it rubbish, you know. So we should, as youth, I should say we should step up because there are lots of youth, they are also lazy, like just relying on AI to do their research, every single thing. They don't want to put in any effort. And that is not helping. I'm also
Gloria, I have a
hi.
question.
Okay.
Yeah, not only for
Can
her,
you
but
hear
then
me?
for all of us. Yeah, I
Okay.
can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Yes. So we've been talking. You've spoken or you touched on awareness or basically educating the public about AI and then the adverse effect of it. But is it all about just creating awareness, or there's more we can do than just making campaigns and then telling people about maybe the negatives of what AI can do? Is it all that, or we can actually think outside the box and find practical ways of, aside doing the awareness thing and doing campaigns, we can find practical ways of getting people to appreciate what AI is and also to better understand or clearly understand its adverse effects. Because usually we know that, okay, people come and talk to us about what the negatives of AI, but
you.
then people don't really understand it as much as they have to. So they don't get to appreciate it. So I want all of us to like kind of, if you have any innovative way of maybe putting it out there that okay, AI is good, but then this is the negative, these are also the implications of what AI is.
Yeah. So I believe we need to. It's not an option. We need to go beyond just awareness creation. And at some academies, I think you mentioned, was it, no, it's not TrustCon, but hackathon.
Yeah,
We also had that. And some of these initiatives bring into play the knowledge that we normally speak about. I
right.
remember at our just ended digital parenting workshop, we're leading these parents to be able to have parental guidance or parental controls on their wards, whether
Mm-hmm.
a tablet, an iPhone, or whatever. So yes, we really need the skill set. And I think for someone to desire for the skill that we are talking about here, or for someone to look out for this skill set, the person needs to desire for it.
Right.
Because I mean, something I don't desire for, I will not in any way force myself to go and learn. So that's what I was saying. As youth, we should step up because just having the knowledge is not enough. Aside awareness, someone may say, um, Tariq, I'll let you come in soon. Someone would say, oh, I'm unable to get a larger audience. No, it's not about getting larger audience alone. Right. You may not know that just that one person you told would also advise someone or even share that skill set with that another person. So we can start bit and bit. Yes, there's a need for the skill set. There's a need to put in play the knowledge that we have gained and we continue to acquire.
Yes,
Right.
I agree with both Gloria and Dorian. I believe it is important that young Africans are encouraged to, basically gain digital skills and basically understand how the digital world, basically and I believe it is very empowering because the world is getting very digitalized. Everything is digital from, you can basically take courses online now. Some jobs are basically entirely online. So it's very important that, digital literacy is very emphasized because even some job skills require you to have some level of digital education to understand, how to, basically use certain digital tools. And unfortunately, digital skills is lacking in some countries, especially here in Nigeria where even access to quality education is already a problem. So add that to, accessing proper digital skills. That's another issue. So I definitely believe that young Africans need to, develop, develop digital skills, especially those who currently attend schools. And it is, up to young advocates and, non-profit organizations, even the government, they have a role to play in encouraging, schools, and parents to basically emphasize digital skills, because the world is evolving really fast. Soon, artificial intelligence is going to automate certain jobs, and certain roles will even go get redundant. And it's really important that young Africans are encouraged, start learning, whether it is coding or product development or UI UX, anything related to digital skills. It would be nice to just like have one or two. And it is also very important that while we are also pushing digital skills, we also educate them on how to ethically use these digital tools. Because unfortunately, some people don't realize that ethics also apply to the digital tools we use. So the ethics we use in our everyday life when we interact with other people, which is, don't cause harm to others or don't use it in, a very irresponsible manner, should also be applied when it comes to talking about digital tools.
Right. I do agree with Tariq. And Jasmine, if Jasmine is still on the call, I think she can also share one or two ideas about this.
Yes, yeah, I agree with what Gloria, I agree with all three of you have said, Gloria, Tariq, and Darian. Yeah. I feel like we need a lot of us need to see ourselves as co-creators, not just consumers of you
Right.
know tech and just the digital aspect or AI in general. That youth engagement like shouldn't stop at just consulting AI or consulting the internet for everything. That we should be involved in co-creating digital solutions as well. That we're not just using tech, but basically shaping trends, languages, movements, and behaviors online. If you look at the creators of content on TikTok or Instagram, local developers, building apps, they're all mostly young people. So I see the risk of understanding youth capacity. Sometimes there's this idea that youth are too experienced to lead the digital policy or safety. But the reality is that we often detect problems before they become global issues. But there isn't always a way to there's a way to solve it, but then it doesn't is it that it doesn't come to mind or there aren't enough resources for you to be able to do something about it. And then look at the rise of mental health crisis caused by social media, filters, in fact, deepfake scams. Young people spoke about these years before, regulations caught on to those kind of things. That's why I feel like we need to balance AI and human development. Like you made a powerful point about not letting AI take over our creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And I heard that we should be designing AI with our values embedded in it, you understand? So that it's not just using what others have built. AI should serve us. It's meant to aid, not control us. Because eventually, over time, if we're always relying on AI, our ability to think for ourselves will just, be reducing over time. And no one wants that.
I completely agree with you, Jasmine. And I don't know if you've seen this post by Sam Altman. So he mentioned that we should be very careful of using ChatGPT because when you use these chatbots, they actually store your data. They have access to your data. That's how they are able to like learn from it and then give responses, new responses to the prompts that you make, right? So if we share and young people go to the extent of sharing personal information with these chatbot. They see them as therapists, right? And which is very, very bad. So we see that AI has gotten to a point where it's taking the place of human beings. People are more connected to their phones. They are more connected to their chatbots than they are to maybe their parents or their guardians. I want to ask, how do you feel about this issue, and what do you think we can do to solve this problem? It's open to any one of you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Honestly, I understand what you're saying. Okay, how I feel about this, what we can do to fix it. Honestly, it's one I've seen personally. I've seen it before with one of my friends. One of my friends, she would have a problem, and then the next thing I know, she said that she's asking her chat GPT. She even named it. I said, ah. So she literally considers chat her bestie, her therapist, her outputs, and I was already seeing the dangers of it already, and I think it just speaks to the loneliness and emotional gaps that a lot of young people are experiencing today. When someone starts seeing ChatGPT, a chatbot like ChatGPT as their therapist or best friend, it's not just an AI anymore. It's basically a human connection crisis. You're not able to connect with people as much anymore. Any problem you have, you're running to AI because you feel like AI understands, but AI is just feeling off of what you've already put into it, what you've already fed it. So it gives you exactly what you want to hear, and that's why you believe that. That's why they believe that this is the perfect companion for me. And I think the danger is less about the tool itself and more like the lack of healthy boundaries and education around it. So people don't know the dangers of it yet. That yes, the platform collects data and yes, they can feel emotional intelligence, but they can't replace a real community. It's not possible. But one thing we can do to make sure um, digital well-being is part of school curriculums and youth programs. We need to teach not just how to use AI, or how to set limits. For example, knowing when to journal, talk it to a friend, or seek help from a real person instead of defaulting to a chat box. I also believe that we need to design platforms with better emotional guardrails. You understand, like alert when someone is oversharing, or nudge that suggests talking to a human when a mental health topic comes up. Like let the AI tell you that you need to see a human being for help instead of coming to me. Like I feel like that's how the program should. In the end, AI should support real life relationships, not just replace them entirely. And if we're not careful, we may end up emotionally outsourcing everything to machines.
Very well said. Very well said. Gloria, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do, but I wanted Tarek to go since I
Okay.
spoke the first.
Yeah. Tariq, would you like to say something?
And Tarek, please unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So I do think that people should be made more aware of how AI definitely works, because I feel like some people just see it as this like, tool that basically they don't really need to understand how it works before they just like use it and just like get information out of it. Because there's so many people that don't know AI might store your information. There's so many people that are not even aware that, using AI chatbots, the replies or answers you get from like AI chatbots are not always, correct. And you always, you sort of, sometimes need to actually like fact check the information you're getting from it. So I definitely believe that, AI literacy should also be emphasized, because artificial intelligence is now a, major aspect of modern life. It is everywhere. AI generated art, AI generated text. So people should be encouraged to, when you're using artificial intelligence, whether it is AI chatbots or AI ad generators, make sure you're basically using it ethically and wisely, and sometimes take the information with a grain of salt, because I have got information from AI that was totally incorrect, and I assumed it was correct because it was from AI. So sometimes you should ask it for web sources to properly verify the information, and make sure you are not copying something that is and also I would encourage students, when students are using AI, they should also ensure that they are not outsourcing all their basically if they are using AI, they should basically mostly use it to get ideas, and not outsource like their writing, because I feel like that's a mistake some young people make, like making AI do everything for them while not learning any personal like skills. And I think even though these tools exist, I think it's also really important for humans to retain their creativity and their ability to do things on their own. Because because I believe it can help boost your critical thinking skills. For me personally, I use AI to brainstorm. If I am about to write an essay, or basically I need information about something, sometimes I just like get quick ideas from AI, or I'll input the ideas I already have and use it to basically just like think and basically brainstorm, instead of just like outsourcing all the work to artificial intelligence, because artificial intelligence cannot outdo human creativity. At the end of the day, human creativity is still like we have the ability to imagine new things. And I think that is an aspect that needs to still be retained. Like human creativity should not be replaced with artificial intelligence. We should see artificial intelligence as a co-creator or an extra tool that we use. Just like despite the fact that we have calculators, sometimes we still have to solve some mathematical problems that our brain. So basically using AI as just like a colleague or a tool along the way. So yeah.
Okay, so I agree with all that you all have said. I'll just add a few. So uh, me being privileged to work with a foundation who is also into internet safety and all that. These are the few things I have noticed. With parental guidance, and it should be done with understanding and also consent. Because if you're the parent, you go and set parental control on your ward tablet, and it was done out of consent. Please, youth here, that parental guidance and all that is not to harm you. It's just to protect you and to shape you well. It's just to make sure that this digital access does not destroy you and your future. So let us come from that perspective and that understanding that you don't, should I say, retaliate or respond in any way when your parent is trying to guide you. Some don't have parents who are knowledgeable about this, and unless help from other sources. But if you do have a parent, or even if you are knowledgeable yourself, let us put it into practice. The next thing I'll also touch on is law enforcement. So I think most of the things we've spoken about here is proactive measures. Now, I want us to look at some of the reactive measures. I mean, no one wants these online harms, or no one wants any of us to fall for these online harms. But should it happen, what do we do? So, bringing in law enforcers, I mean, right now I'm recruiting all of us into the law enforcement agencies. Please, you see someone's nude being leaked, and someone will just share, like, I don't know if they share and they are giving some award or something. Because if it was your nude, you wouldn't like to share it. You wouldn't like anyone to share it. But I just don't know why we are getting to a point where it's like I have a digital right, but the responsibility, I don't want to take it up. That is a wrong perspective. If you have ever thought of such in any way in your growing up as a youth. So please, we have our digital right, but then it comes also with a responsibility. Normally, we just put all the blame on law enforcement and be like, oh, when it happened, they did not respond quickly, the content moderators. But we also play the role. When you saw that, then what did you do? All that you did was to add up to what was happening. At times, cyberbullying and some, the reactions you give to people's posts, it's either makes someone's emotional, whatever. So please, let us be mindful. The other thing, so the law enforcement, I mean, we say, oh, they should be trained and all that. At the foundation, we do that. And the last e-police academy we had, I was surprised. Do you know that that's when someone sends you a link, oh, join my group, and some of us will just click. The moment you click, you may have not been added to a group, but then someone is able to monitor all that you do. And the person, the I think it was a cybersecurity professional, the person did it for us to see. Like the person will be sitting somewhere. The person can move on your phone and do whatever. The person can even turn on your camera. So at times we see some people's nudes just hovering around. It's not because they recorded it all, but they have clicked on a certain link that has given someone access to their phone. And the person is able to turn on the camera at any point. You would not see it. That is the dangerous part of it. So let us be careful the links we click. And I mean, they will be trained and will try, or they'll try their best training themselves, but we should also arm ourselves. You see, when you have a gun and a thief comes into your house and you know how to shoot, it's not like you're going to call police when your life is at stake. By the time the police comes, then the thief has already done whatever he or she wants to do. So please let us arm ourselves. The other thing also I think we've already spoke about education, but I'm also thinking that we can also skew it down into schools. We just launched an online safety club in Headlines Educational Complex. And the main idea about this is to create online safety ambassadors in schools. Because when these things happen, when let's say my friend is going through cyberbullying, before we call the helpline, I mean, whatever, or before it even comes to mind that there's a helpline, let's just call the helpline, and whatever would happen to my friend has already happened. So, those of us who find ourselves here, you are an online ambassador. You are an online safety ambassador. See yourself as such. So that you don't just do anything anyhow because everyone is doing it. And some people just do things for fun. There's this thing that came up. I don't know if it's the same for Nigeria and the other African countries, but they call it oh, I've forgotten the name. But it's like, oh my goodness. It's like a couple of pictures, and it goes so fast, eh? And if we have 10 pictures, in the middle, the sixth one, it will be the nude of the person. And I was like, what is happening? And they are doing it for fun. Like, they're like, oh, when I do this, I'm becoming famous. My dear, you are creating wrong digital footprint. So whatever you are putting out there, know that in the future, it will catch up with you. So we should not just post. We should not just like you may have not posted it, but your reaction, your comment, it also played a role. So the last thing I'll also I think responsible tech use, we've already spoken about that. The last thing I'll also speak about is collaborative partnerships. You see, there are a lot of resources that exist in a pool of or should I say in collaborative effort. I may have the human resource. I may not have the technology to give out the skill set or to train people. Let's say Doreen may have that. Jasmine may have another form of resource. When we all come together, then we are able to really see to the end of this thing we are talking about here. Let us remind ourselves also that this thing, we should you see, some people really see this as competition, that kind of thing. So coming together to solve a problem becomes an issue because the person just wants to stand out. Oh, I did this, I did that. But meanwhile, if we come together as we've met here, we all have different perspective with what we are talking about here. Bringing all these ideas together, we are able to really make an impact. I'm not saying just make an impact, but coming together and bringing all these together, it goes far. So I know some of the tech people, they are just in for money and all that. Please, here we are in for our safety. And so if you have in mind human beings, like some of us here, and you, our future, then it should not be about competition. It should be about making impact. And impact, that is not your packet alone impact. No, impact in the lives of other people. So that's a few I want to add to what has already been said. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Gloria. Angeline, I'm not sure, are we sticking strictly to the 11 o'clock?
Oh, we can go a few minutes over. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. So all that has been said, right now we have social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, and we see people constantly sharing content. And sometimes it could evolve into like a race where I'm posting just for like, or it can evolve, although we use these social media platforms to share a bit of our lives and then also for opportunities. Sometimes you realize it could turn into a form of validation which we don't see consciously, right? For instance, on LinkedIn, you realize when you keep posting on LinkedIn and sharing ideas, during your post to maybe the algorithm, it could evolve. You get a lot of likes. Sometimes I'm speaking from a personal experience. You tend to like evolve to post just so people like your content and also just share your content or repost the content, right? What do you guys think about that aspect where you use constantly using social media can become like a form of it can evolve into a valid form of validation for young people. What do you think about that? Jasmine, I think you can go first there. Jasmine, did you hear me? Would you like to go first? You're mute.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
So I was saying that you see, when you post online on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you could post with maybe a clear mindset, right? Maybe for connect with friends, get opportunities. But then in the long run, sometimes you evolve. I'm speaking from a personal experience. You could evolve to want to post so that people can like your content. So have you ever experienced something similar where you just post so that people can like your content or share your content? And what do you think what's called seeking validation from social media tools could look like in the future with AI in the picture too?
Okay. Um, Speaking from personal experience, I've noticed how platforms like Instagram, Facebook, even LinkedIn can shift in how they influence us over time. It might start with a clear, genuine goal, like you said, like staying in touch with friends or building a professional network. But somewhere along the line it evolves, and suddenly, it becomes about how many likes and how many shares and how many comments you get. If they're good comments, if they're bad comments. So you start craving that engagement more than connection. So this constant need for validation can be mentally exhausting, in my opinion, and it's not just a one-time thing. It slowly creeps in. Little by little, you want to be noticed, you want to be seen by people, you want to be accepted by people, regardless of what you started with. You start doing anything now to get that validation. And you begin posting not because that is it's authentic like it was before, but because you just want to be seen, just want to be liked, just want to be affirmed. But now with AI in the picture, this could get even worse because algorithms will get even smarter at predicting and feeding content that gives us that, should I say, dopamine hits, that kind of addicting, quality. So the kind of attention that we start craving, and AI might start bringing perfect posts for us, start thinking of perfect posts for us to put in there to be able to get us many likes, tell us what to post, how to pose, what to say. Over time, we might lose even our own individuality and our confidence. If we don't have AI, we won't be able to do this. If we don't have this, we won't be able to do that. You forget about that authenticity. You had that, how real you were at the beginning because of how much you relied on AI and how much you started seeking and craving that validation. So this is the thing though. The danger is that AI won't just influence what we consume to shape who we become, especially for young people who are still trying to form their identity. It's critical that we start having these conversations now and promote digital literacy. That includes self-awareness and emotional resilience, you understand? So yeah, that's what I feel about AI being integrated into social media.
I think you just hit the nail right in its head. You actually explained what AI could actually look like amidst social media already causing a lot of harm to positives and also a lot of negatives to young people like you and I. Tariq, can you share your thoughts on how AI can influence our digital well-being with regards to social media platforms like IG, Facebook, and WhatsApp?
Yeah, thank you so much, Dorian. I agree with what everyone has said about this particular topic. I definitely think AI is going to have a major influence on social media because we're already seeing it with, AI generated content in our feeds. If you're on TikTok, you have probably you probably come across a satirical content that was made with AI. So I definitely think AI is going to be a major part of like, social media for the longest time, except if, there's a tool to basically filter out AI content. But until then, we're going to keep seeing AI generated content. Many people are already starting to use AI to get ideas for what to create, what to talk about on their, social media. So I definitely think it's starting to have like some influence on, what we see on social media. But some people still emphasize, authenticity, being their authentic self, being raw as possible online. But I feel like as I definitely also feel like we should maintain the human touch of social media, because that's basically what it is called. It is social media. And I think social media has even evolved, because when Facebook first started, they mostly emphasized like connections, connecting with people you already knew in person, following people you already knew. And if you remember early Instagram, we didn't even have stories, we didn't have like all these extra features like reels. The only thing you saw on your main feed were people you already knew and followed, maybe a few celebrities, and it was mostly like people you were like friends with or classmates or people that were in your immediate circle. But now with algorithmic social media, they're now focused more on pushing content from like professional content creators, influencers. So now if you go on social media, most of the content you see are not even from people you know personally. You mostly see content from like influencers, content creators, strangers you have never met, comedians, like, which is not a problem, but I feel like they have moved away from the initial, oh, we're trying to connect people, we're trying to make your friendships fun and digital. They have moved away from that model to a more profit driven model, where you're mostly seeing influencers that are selling you either a lifestyle, or they are building a personal brand, or they are basically trying to sell you something. And I feel like it has shifted this into a sort of like consumer slash creator sort of like dichotomy, where you're either a content creator, or these days, like, or you're either in the middle, or you're somebody that doesn't post and is just there to consume what other people are doing, and basically just like endlessly scroll and consume everybody's like information. And I do think AI will also transform like how people create content. We're already seeing people generating full on videos, artistic pieces, stories, all with ChatGPT or other AI chatbots. But I think my problem with this is because ChatGPT gets it basically takes off of like human work, because ChatGPT can create well, it can create things that are original, but it always follows like patterns from what human beings have already created. And I think it is a bit problematic, because it is basically ripping off of human creativity. And I also feel like it is also going against like the work and intellectual property of so many artists. So I feel like that's why I'm not in support of AI art. And I feel like I saw that with the Studio Ghibli trend, where people were generating art. And that artistic style belongs to an actual artist. And I do feel like it is problematic for people to be mass producing real artworks like that, because it has a negative impact on the artists that actually created that art style, especially when they are not profiting off of like the mass generation of this art pieces from artificial intelligence. At the end of the day, AI is not going anywhere, but it is also very important for people to be aware, when I'm using AI, what impact does it have on other people? What impact does it even have on me? Because a recent MIT study even, stated that, people that over rely on AI usually have like a decline in critical thinking. So if you outsource like your ability to think for your self to AI, you basically want to type, you still have to use AI to fact check, use AI to correct your grammar, use AI to search on things, use AI to, write an essay. Of course, like at some point, you will not be able to write anything on your own. And that is a very, very bad thing, because we need people that can critically think and also critically use AI tools. Because at the end of the day, we are human beings, we have to interact with one another. And if you cannot do any of those things and you're constantly relying on AI, how should I do this? AI, how should I phrase this, sentence? AI, should I say this? Should I do that? You will not be able to do anything on your own. And that's one thing I've started to, started doing on my own. Some things that I know AI can do it easily, I would still, stress myself and, write the whole essay by myself and start using Grammarly to spot out like, grammar mistakes, and still, just like to develop those skills. Because even with AI, you still need to learn these skills, because at the end of it, even when AI start, automating things and there are less jobs. We still need people in people skills. We still need people that can communicate, people that can critically think, people that can create things without relying on an artificial intelligence tech to basically help them with these things. So, and I feel like with social media, AI is going to transform social media a lot, and it's just really important for people to just know how to navigate it.
And very well said. Very well said. Gloria, do you have any more additions?
Yes, please. All has been said, so I have just a few ones. The word I was looking for is teleportation vibe. So the pictures go very quick, then there's a nude in there. It may just be one picture and it goes very quick. So yes, and what I want to add to all that has been said is that you see, there's something called dark world or the dark web. Yes, the dark web. So depending on what you are posting, first and foremost, it should not be your digital audience that should make or make your identity. Just get that settled. You see, some people, they are unable to really be themselves because it is what other people are saying about them online, what is actually shaping how they even live. And if that is the case, or if that's your case here, then I think there's a need for you to seek for help. You don't need someone to describe who you are. Normally, I would say know yourself for the potentials you have. We all have shortcomings, but then we should let the potentials override our shortcomings. So I just mentioned dark web. So whatever you put there, someone asked, when did Facebook ever use my details and come and ask, it came to ask me that, oh, should I share these details before? When we gave them yes, then they went to share or they went to, no one. I've never heard it. Okay, maybe some of you may have heard it, but I've never heard such. So that tells us that, yes, the information is ours. But the moment we share it on the digital space, any digital platform, it is no longer yours. It's no longer just yours. This one, we call it co-ownership. So let's be very mindful the personal information we put out there. Because if these threat actors are able to break into this dark web, then that means whatever you place there, you've already placed yourself in trouble. And it has a future consequence. I remember an issue happened here in Ghana. It was about sextortion. This lady is a prominent personality now. And something that happened like 10 years, 15 years. I don't know if it was a comeback of the person or I just don't know. But I was like, my goodness. You see, the profile you have built all this while, just this has come to really set you back to stage one. People like, hey, so is this the person we're all? So please let us be mindful. The next thing I also mentioned that there is a need for AI regulation. I have seen Council of Europe working on those things. And this AI regulation, someone will say, hey, how can we even regulate this? I think I took some courses, and what really stood out to me is that they took it step by step. It's not just a one-day job, but only if we get even youth who are committed to do this, plus put in place systems and structures. Because if you are not allowed in, how then do you, so as I believe as we do this, our leaders and other people who are out there would also come and draw us in or even take the bits and bits of some of the knowledge or the skills we share. And the next thing, so about AI regulation, it should be something focused on human rights, democracy, and rule of law. I have seen that most people, and even in the European world, some youths are tending to keep whatever be their democratic rights to themselves, like limiting freedom of expression and all that, because someone is sitting somewhere saying a whole lot of things. And you see, the information you have here determines how you act or react. So I think some of us spoke about whether misinformation or disinformation, it influences the result of the election. So it's not something that someone will say, oh, it's just for fun. No. You may know it's a fake news. What about the other person you share the thing with? The person may not know. And if democracy is moving out, then we are in danger. We are all living in a country and no democracy, not because the leaders have told us not to speak, but because digital access, we, even the youth, we are not using it responsibly. So I think those are the few I'll just add to all the voices that has just been given out here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Gloria. Thank you. That was very insightful. Angeline, would you want to chip in?
Yeah, you guys are superstars. Really, I could listen for hours and hours and hours. And I really hope that we talk again soon and continue the conversation. And as Gloria said, the collaboration. Yeah, there's just so much we could dive into, and people who hear this. So really, thank you so much. And it's nice that we ended with democracy, because
Yeah.
as an as an American, without getting political, we can see the impact of social media on democracy. For one way or another. And this is something we should pay attention to around the world. So really, thank you guys so much. You were amazing, really insightful conversation. I'm looking forward to continuing to help raise such amazing voices up, and hopefully you'll connect with each other as well, if in case you weren't already. So thanks to you and to everyone listening.
Thank you, Angeline.
Gloria,
Hi,
did you want to
everyone.
say? Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say thank you to everyone
Yeah.
here. I mean, when she shared the invitation, we all accepted to be here. Thank you so much, and Angeline as well. I mean, it's not everyone who wants to hear youth voices, and those of us who are also here. Thank you so much. I've learned a lot during this webinar, or should I say,